And welcome to my blog, Wisdom for Today. And as you can see, I'm home. We're having a snow day, so I'm working from home today. But today I wanted to talk to you about this coming Ash Wednesday. So I wanted to make sure my blog went out today. Ash Wednesday is this wonderful season where we get to celebrate our mortality and accept that we're human and accept that we're not perfect, that there is a higher power and we are not He. And I find it a lovely coincidence that this year it falls on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, I think it's a nice thing that we have a day set aside to celebrate romantic love and our passions. But like all things, it can become commercialized and it can give us a sense of inadequacy that somehow we're not the perfect family, not the perfect sister, not the perfect daughter, not the perfect wife or husband. But first of all, before I talk about our mortality in this situation, let's talk about the gift of love, romantic love specifically. I know that some people say, let's not talk about it because not all of us are in romantic relationships. I have the same attitude toward that as I do toward churches who don't celebrate Mother's Day because some people don't have children. I find that silly. I'm a woman who's never had children and is not in a romantic relationship, and yet I can appreciate mothers and the unique calling and gift that God has given them. And I also can appreciate romantic love as well, because it's a gift that God has given all of us to display God's love for His church. So, first of all, I want you to realize that in Genesis, that man, uh, God created male and female. God created man in His image, male and female, to create a sense of community. It was so man would not be alone. It was that idea that we're not made to live on this world alone. That we need community. We need helpmates to help us along our way. And the Bible tells us that he who finds a spouse finds a good thing, that there's goodness in the romantic love. And and also, God compares himself to a groom on his wedding day when he says, as a young man marries a young woman, so the builders marries you. As the bridegroom rejoices over his bride, so your God rejoices over you. I don't know if you've ever met a romantic couple who's been in love. I'm sure you have. And how they talk about their person that they love, the joy in which they talk about them. That's the way God talks about us. That's God's love for us. In fact, this feeling of romantic love is so strong that in Song of Solomon's, it says that love is stronger than death. Now, that sounds kind of grave, no pun intended, to compare it to it, but death is very final. And love, pure love, can be final. It can be something that you can depend upon. So, in love, we get a picture of two people sacrificing their lives to create a home. And it's not a sacrifice where it's necessarily painful. It's joyous, as I just read in Isaiah, as a bridegroom rejoices over his wife. But still, a man leaves his father, a woman leaves her home, they leave some identity behind, and the two draw together where they should be as one. And this is the mystery of Christ and his church. Now, how does this come to Christ and his church? Well, Jesus left all for us. He left heaven for us. He left heaven for us to come down to earth so that we could be reunited with God. And God loved us so much that he let Jesus leave the safety of heaven. Imagine this, if you had a son that you loved so much, to make them leave the safety of heaven. Jesus left the safety of heaven to come down to earth. And then God loved us so much and loved Christ so much that he allowed his fullness to dwell in Christ. In Colossians 1:15 through 20, it says, God was pleased to have his fullness dwell in him, and through him reconcile all things on earth and in heaven, making peace through his own blood shed on the cross. I love that scripture, because if love is about anything, it's about reconciliation. When we feel great love towards someone and they offend us, What we often do is what we say to ourselves, okay, the offense is great, but my love is greater. I don't want to trash this relationship because I want to keep loving this person, not for what they did wrong, but for everything they do that is right in my life. We do that with our friends. We do that with our romantic partners. We do that with our spouses. We do that with our children. We love someone not because of what the wrong they did, but because everything that is good about them. And that's God's love for us in Jesus Christ. The fullness of God's deity dwelled in the very human Jesus, because Jesus was fully man and fully God. And because God allowed that to happen, we can look at Jesus and say that we haven't gone through anything that he hasn't gone through first. What a blessing that is. What a reconciliation that is. Love is beautiful, but without forgiveness, it won't last very long. Love is passionate and attracting, but without reconciliation, it won't stay. And we have the ability to stay in love relationships and the ability to have a long-lasting love because the forgiveness of Jesus Christ and because of reconciling power of him. We're going to be talking about that more in Ash Wednesday, so I pray that you'll come and be a part of that. And for those of you at home, I pray that you find a church that you can go to for a Wednesday service and for Sunday service. God's blessings and have a good day.